Recording. There we go. Okay. Well, welcome to Marketing Monday. This is just going to be a series of different topics that we're going to cover on Mondays as far as marketing your business, networking, that kind of thing. Each Monday, we'll start out with a certain topic, and this one this week is going to be guerrilla marketing, which sounds kind of funny if you've never heard of it. People get the impression of I'm talking about somebody standing out on the corner with a monkey suit. That's not what this is about. It's actually low-cost ideas that you can use to market your business that typically don't cost a lot, but have a big impact on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to communicate with your public. So let's see if I can get this pulled up again. I thought I was starting to screen share. All right. And then each week too, this beginning part will normally take maybe 10 minutes at the most. I try to keep it pretty short and give plenty of time if anybody has any ideas you want to bounce back and forth or questions or anything that you want to do. Just feel free to chime right in, and we'll do that afterwards. And also, if you want to stop me while I'm doing any of this and ask me questions or anything, this is really, really, really informal. So just let me know, and I am happy to do that too. So these are just 3 real guerrilla marketing ideas that I've used for some of my previous businesses. These are definitely not a huge list of ideas to try out, but it's just some things to spark your imagination and get some ideas going of ways that you can implement some of this stuff in your own business. The point to guerrilla marketing is to have the biggest impact and reach the most people you can with the smallest, budget. So these are all things that you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money on, but they do normally take a little bit more time and a little more of your resources. So just keep that in mind too, that anything you do that's going to make an impact is going to cost you somewhere. So guerrilla marketing, like I said before, sometimes people get the impression that I'm talking about the guys that stand out on the corner spinning things and wearing a monkey suit, which is actually a form of guerrilla marketing. I mean, that's a way that you could get your message out there, and it would definitely get people's attention when you've got a monkey out on the corner or something out in front of your business spinning a sign or something like that. So that's kind of the whole premise of what guerrilla marketing is. It uses unconventional ways and usually inexpensive. You can spend a lot of money on this. I've seen examples where people do big murals on the side of a wall or something in the street. Those could be really effective, but those are normally very expensive, and that's not the kind of things that we're going to talk about today. But it's designed to reach a lot of people, and particularly in a certain location or kind of a demographic. So we're talking about like groups of teachers or a certain demographic in like preschool moms, that kind of thing. So whenever you're thinking of guerrilla marketing, keep in mind that you're trying to reach a certain demographic as opposed to traditional marketing where you just throw things out there and it's kind of mainstream, anybody is the focus. These are a little bit more hyper focused on a certain group or a certain demographic. So here are just a few things that I've used previously, and we can kind of dive into them a little bit more. And these are just examples, but whenever you're thinking guerrilla marketing, you really want to think about ways that you can get your product or service in front of your potential customers. So this is more you being proactive and getting your information and what you do actually in front of people as opposed to trying to market and get them to come to you. So one of the things that I've done in the past is I chose a business of the week and offered them a great special or deal, something that's going to get their attention and get them to try your product and service together so that they kind of create their own group. And if you wow them with your service or with your product, then of course that whole group is going to go out and tell the world what you do and how they could benefit from what you do. So keep in mind though, I know a lot of people when you start to think about your offers or what you're going to do to entice people to try your product or service, this is not one of those times where you want to just offer 10% or something kind of vague that would barely spark an interest. You really need to think bigger. As much as you can afford, that's not going to cost your business a lot of money, but this is definitely something where you want to think longer term as far as bringing in new people, getting them to take that chance. You know, if they've never had any kind of experience with your business, you need something that's going to get them to say, okay, this is worth me maybe not liking it or, you know, just not being happy with what I'm doing, but it's worth a shot because they are offering this. So again, this is where you want to stick with a certain demographic. You obviously don't want to offer the public something big all at once. Think in terms of smaller groups, so it's much more contained and you're not giving the whole world a big discount at once. So just a couple examples what I've done in the past with this. When I owned some hair salons, I offered all the teachers in our local district their first haircut for free. And I know some people at first think, whoa, wait a minute, you're going to offer them, a free service to come in. Now, think through this. What you do is when you hit a bunch of teachers, they're all very well connected and they are all very, very tight group of people. So all you have to do is wow a couple of them, and they're going to tell the rest of them that you've got to go there. So that was the main premise. Again, you want to reach the most amount of people you can at one time. And that was a great way to do it. They all talk. But then also when they came in, it was kind of a win-win for both of us. They came in and it was during the winter. So how many of these women were going to want to leave with their hair wet? None of them. Not one of them that took me up on this offer wanted to leave with their hair wet. So at least they paid me to either dry it for them or style it. And then they also tipped me quite a bit bigger just because the cut was free. So that's just something to think about. Obviously, there's different ways that you could try this with different businesses, but just think about what you could do that would serve a certain group, whether it's maybe law enforcement or I don't know, just think groups of people that talk are very well connected and see what you can come up with as far as how you can reach them, what would get their attention. You need to think about, something that they definitely would want to take you up on. Don't try to offer teachers some sort of, something that they would never be interested in. But just think big, how many groups you can get a hold of. And then, but you really have to make sure that what you do is once you get them in there, of course you want to wow them with your service, but you also need to offer them something to get them to come back. You always want to make sure that there's a reason that they keep you in front of mind when they're coming back. So whether that's a discount or if you have some sort of a loyalty program, maybe even a buy one, get one free. Like if they want to bring someone the next time, I've done that as well, where they come back in for the next service. And if they bring someone with them, they get a discount as well. So just think anything that can get you in front of your product and service. Don't wait for them to come to you. Restaurants could do this really easily by doing like taking samples to a business, offer to, bring somebody in as their business of the week, and then bring them samples that week, something that you do just to get them to have tasted your food or what you do, and get them to come to you after that. So just think about that, what you could do to bring in a group of people, what kind of people or clients are you looking for to make sure that they fit in with your demographic of people that will want to take advantage of your product or your service. So just think about that and watch how fast your business can grow just based on word of mouth from getting those people in your door. And another fun one are fundraisers. Now, these can go in a bazillion different directions, but organizations always love help with fundraising. And this could be a great way for you to reach a whole new group of people just by connecting with the people that are already connected with the group you're trying to raise funds for. So think about what groups you would naturally like to support. You don't want to try to support something that you don't really have a passion for, that you don't really have a big heart for. It'll come off that way. So just make sure that it's something that means something to you and does something that you really do support their mission and what they want to do. So just go in and try to figure out what you could do to help them, to help their mission, as well as pick a day or a service or something where you're going to give back to them if they help you to promote your service or what you're doing to the people that are involved with their organization. So it's a win-win for both. You could be giving back some of the money that you earn because of their support, but then also you're getting access to the group of people that they're around. And also another big thing about this is these kind of things are typically really great public relations stories. So don't forget to include your press in this. If you're doing something pretty big, it's something that can make a story. The news stations especially newspapers, they're always looking for something to talk about. They always want new stories and things that are going on. So make sure you research. I'll probably do another Zoom about this too, about how to do press releases and how to reach out to the media to give them your information. But they typically love to do this kind of thing. So that again could be another great way for you to reach a lot of people and not have to spend money at all while you're providing something that you really do believe in. So an example of something that I did quite a bit is I always reached out to our schools, not only just with the teachers, but to try to get in front of the kids as well. So what I would do is I thought of offers that would benefit the kids or the families, and contact the school ahead of time and ask them, tell them about your idea and let them know that you'll want to give back to the school of some sort, like whether it's a percentage of whatever comes back to you from your being able to put things in front of their kids, but just decide in advance what you want to do. And I'm sorry, don't go to the school first. You go to the superintendent. They're the ones that can give you the approval to whether or not you can go into the actual schools themselves. So make sure that your idea is well formed and kind of completely thought out so that you can answer questions right away when they ask, because they will. And but I don't think I've ever been refused this idea whenever I've gone to a school district, especially because they just always need help raising funds in different projects that they're working on. So this is a pretty good way to reach hundreds, if not thousands of families easily, depending on how big you go with this idea, whether you want to hit one school or a whole school district. So that's another thing too. If you choose to try this, make sure you tell the superintendent what your direction is as far as that goes too, whether you are thinking of hitting just one certain school or all the schools. Just let them know in advance what you're thinking so they kind of have an idea of what direction you're going to go. And then typically what will happen is they'll run it by whoever they've got to run it by and send you a letter giving you approval to contact the schools. That doesn't mean each individual school will give you permission to do this, but it is saying that it's approved by the superintendent, which is your first stop. So that's just a way that I did this a lot of times, and it really works out really well. But here's the catch. This is something I think some people don't think about. Whenever you do this, make sure you do all of the work. Don't assume that any secretary or anybody that's working in the school is going to help you out with this. They don't need something added to their job. So just make sure that you take care of everything for them to make it as easy as possible, and that way they'll allow you to do it in the future. So when you first call the school to ask for permission, tell the school first what you're doing, and that you do have approval from the superintendent to send flyers home with the kids, and then ask for a list of how many students are in each class. So you know exactly how many flyers to have ready or whatever you're going to put into those boxes. And then before you bring the flyers to each of the school, it's your job to bundle these flyers in exact numbers for each class with the teacher name on it, so that they can easily just slip that into the mailboxes and not have to do anything else to help you out with this. So one last thing too, these big things, I'll have a couple more ideas too, but anytime you're thinking of a fundraiser or any of these ideas, also try to keep in mind that you don't want to overdo your offer. So think in best case scenario, how many of these offers that you put out there to the world can you actually easily complete? If you think that you can only handle one of them, then make sure you don't go whole or 100 of whatever you're offering. Don't go overboard and crazy with the amount of flyers you put up there. It would actually be better if you think in best case scenario and you don't have quite as many as what you think, then be overrun and kind of make a bad first impression on these people. So just an example of that too. I once took flyers to all of our local schools about a month before Thanksgiving, offering their kids free haircuts when an adult comes in and paid for theirs, which was a fun idea, but I didn't realize that I would get hundreds of people calling me wanting to take me up on that offer. And at the time I only had 2 stylists. So it was a little bit difficult, even just answering the phone for all of these, and not to mention actually doing all the services. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to overwhelm yourself and make your first impression be one of maybe being a little bit scattered or not being able to take care of what you want to do. But there's just so many different ways that you can fundraise for different groups. We once did a pay what you can day where the public could just come in on that certain day and just pay whatever for their services that they could afford to do, which the salon obviously kind of took a hit on that, but it was huge as far as public relations. People really loved the idea that we were giving back to some people that typically maybe would not have been able to come in and have any services done. So that got us a lot of good relations just from people thinking that that was a great idea, and they like to support businesses that go out of their way for that. So just think of any ways that you could fundraise for anything. I mean, all groups love to have some sort of fundraisers and projects they're working on. So just whenever you're thinking about it, think of what you'd like to offer and what you will do in exchange for them letting you have access to whatever groups they're in and maybe their mailing list and that kind of thing. But again, make sure that you do all of the work and come to them fully prepared to explain your idea in detail. And that way you don't have to go back and forth a little bit. But that's a great way to just get out there in your community and have some good public relations and make a great impact in your community and help out while you're kind of promoting your business as well. And then another fun one is to partner with other businesses. I know a lot of people think about networking and going to networking events, which are great, but it's also great if you connect more one-on-one with some of the businesses in the area. All kinds of businesses love to just to kind of get together and think of ways to do things together. And especially in package deals, that works out really well because people love package deals. Anytime you can give them kind of a idea of things together, that's where they're going to really take advantage of it. So some ideas, maybe restaurants could partner with a theater and create like a date night deal, or hair salons could create a girls' day out with special prices and then partner with a nail bar or makeup professionals. Just any way that you can think of, just think of businesses that are kind of in your same category or the same demographic, the same reach of people that you're looking for, and contact them and just see if you can't connect. What could you do together that you could promote one another and have them, you'll have their access to their customers and they have to yours too, and have a bigger database of people that you're both kind of reach out to and have kind of a fun idea together. So another idea is for you to set up a way to reach, to be able to sell online gift certificates so that people don't have to decide which business they're going to come in and buy from. You can just go in one thing and they can purchase from there and then decide later how to split those funds up. So just think about any way that you could partner with a business in your area, or businesses. You could do a bigger thing where there's like a different range of businesses that everybody has the same idea and you guys come up with ways that you can co-market. So that's just another way to kind of inexpensively get in touch or get in front of more customers that you can do on your own and promote what other local businesses, which is what we all want to do, and make sure that the local business community thrives and keeps on growing. So there's just a lot of other ideas too, besides just these three. You could do like card magnets on your car is a great way, and those are really inexpensive. That's a great way to market your business. I don't know, just any way that you can think of, you could do those. I know that they're old fashioned, but the tear sheets where people can come in and you could put things on bulletin boards, or sometimes restaurants and things like that will allow you to do that, where people could just come in and there's a thing where they tear off if they're interested. But everything that you do for marketing does not have to be super expensive. It just needs to have some thought put into it and go in different directions that maybe other people don't think about. So just do some research and think of ways that you could reach out to your customers that don't necessarily have to be a big spend in money, just more of your time and more of your thinking. So there's all kinds of creative ways, and I'll probably put together another document of a whole bunch of smaller ideas that you could think about and maybe something to spark your interest too. So look out for that. I'll have that out there before too awful long. So that's really, I wanted to keep this kind of short. Actually, I went further than I meant to. I wanted to do about 15 and it's been 20. So I'm going to kind of let this one go, and we'll go back to see if there's anything that we want to talk about. Close this out, stop share. And even though I talk really fast, it still took about 20 minutes. So I need to remember that. So is there anything, Alexandra, did you want to, is there anything that you guys have been working on that you really like, or something that you want to talk about?
Well, I really liked the idea that you mentioned about the teacher haircut, because so much of our business is building trust with people who are in small networks. So I'm going to try and think about how I can apply something like that to the little networks of people that I am involved with. I think all your ideas were great. Not all of them were like transferable for me. So I'm just, as I'm listening, I'm kind of thinking about what I can take and what I can leave. I really like the idea of fundraising as well. We work with the Alzheimer's Association pretty regularly. I don't have any new ideas. I will say that for us, one of the things I wanted to work on was branding and just people being aware of us and being aware that we are thought leaders. And so that's where the webinar series came out. And we did a promotional card where we did like a direct mailer out to targeted neighborhoods, where if they brought in the card, they would get a discount. Unfortunately, that hasn't resulted in any direct sales, but I do think it's helping with awareness so far, because we want, when people think of home care, we want them to think of home care assistants. So that's kind of what we're working on doing right now. Trying to think of what else. Getting connected online and doing online networking has been helpful, talking to other business owners, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and I totally think you're right about sometimes the things that we do for marketing don't have an immediate impact, but it is about branding and getting your name out there. So the more things that you do to try to do that too, I think it's a great idea that you're going through and doing stuff now online and doing things offline. It should just be a big rounded thing where we try to reach as many people in different ways, because not everybody gets the same information the same way. So the more that we can get out there and the more get their names out there and what we do, it's going to help. So I think that's something too. I think people think they do one advertisement and it should just blow up everything that they're doing. And it doesn't necessarily happen that way unless you have just a very unique something that people have not seen before. But for the most part, it's about just continuously having your name and your image and everything out in front of people is what's going to make the difference. So yep, I think you're doing
one other thing that just popped into my head that I don't think you mentioned is just incentivizing your current customers to refer your next customer. So some kind of referral incentive. But that's kind of like having an adult come in with a free child haircut. But yeah.
No, I think you're right. That is one, yeah, definitely something that would help, is to have people refer. I know that happens for a lot with the chamber too, so I don't know why I missed that one, but that's definitely important and because people don't think about it sometimes. So if you bring it up and have a way for them to do that, then it'll spark their interest. But a lot of people, if you just leave it to them, they won't think about it. So that's a good idea too, to find a way to encourage that and yeah, bring that up instead of just waiting for it to happen naturally.
Right. And I think small businesses need to work on not just getting new customers, but making sure that their existing customers are happy and continuing to sell to them. Depending on your business type, you could continue to sell products. So
absolutely. Yeah. That's something too.
Your existing customer base strong too.
Yeah, definitely. I can't stand whenever you're like cell phones and stuff like that, when they only offer new things for new people coming in, but then you never get, yeah, I think you're right. You've got to take care of your existing customers too, or clients, whatever you're working on. But that's definitely very important to keep retention high. And I like too that you're doing the webinars and things like that too. I think that's another great way for people to get what they do out in front of people in a meaningful way, so that people can see what they do, but also get some information from it or gather some sort of an education. I think that's a very inexpensive way to really get and promote your business in a way that means something to the community. So I think that's neat. I'm gonna go check yours out on YouTube and see. You said it's on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, we have them on our Facebook page. The recordings are up on our Facebook page. But yeah, it wouldn't work for every business. But if you have a business where you have complex ideas that you need to explain, or if your sales process is longer than just walking in and buying something, it may be good for your customers to see a webinar or see some more information about you. So
yeah, absolutely. I think though most businesses in some way or form, you could find up with some sort of a video series, because people now, obviously everybody's into video and they want to see what you do. And like restaurants could do behind the scenes things, or people that have something like you said, that have more complex ideas that they want to explain, could do it in video form. So I think that's a great way for most businesses to get something out to the people and let them see who you are and see your personality. Because people like to do business with, what is the saying? People do business with people that they like, know, and trust. And that's the best way to get people to do that, is by video right now, especially when we're not very much being out and open and being able to do a lot out in public and see people. So I think that's a great idea.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you too. Well, I'm trying to keep it right at a half an hour. So we're at about 27 minutes. So I really appreciate you popping on today. Otherwise, I've been talking to myself, which I would have done, but it would have been a little weird.
Yeah. I'm glad I could be here. It's good information. I think it's got my gears turning and thinking, and I love anytime I can share brains with somebody else, bounce ideas. So
me too. Well, this was great. And thanks so much for putting your input in, and hopefully I'll see you again next Monday.
Yes,
I don't know what
ma'am.
to talk about yet. I'll put it out there soon, but it'll be something fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ms. Rhonda.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.